What the?
God, I'm so proud of you.
What up? Welcome to my Mammoth 200 gear breakdown, gear review. Just wanted to go through, show everybody all the stuff that I used in my Mammoth race, everything from the apparel I wore to the gear I used, the tech that I used, and go over some nutrition too. So I brought 4 different pairs of shoes. Oh, actually, let me go get the rockers. Just 1 minute. I was planning on wearing the rocker, and I kept telling myself that I'm gonna put them on at the next aid station, and I just kind of didn't really get around to wearing them. Love this shoe. It's great for a lot of what we were seeing out at Mammoth, a lot of dirt road, nice, long, drawn out, non-technical, easy stuff. So I was planning on wearing these, but just didn't really get around to it. From the start, I wore the Norda 005 to go up to the Mammoth Summit. There's quite a bit of some technical stuff, especially on the descent coming off of the summit. So these were the shoe that I wore for probably the first, I didn't take these off for almost 100 miles. So the Norda 005 was the first shoe that I wore. And then on night 2, we ran through the Glass Mountains. There's a lot of like really dusty, like powdery roads in the Glass Mountains. So I wore these Salomon, I think these are called the S-Lab Dust. They have this built-in gaiter, so kept the dust off of my feet. One kind of mistake that I made, I didn't break these in completely, so I ended up getting some blisters on my toes just from, I don't know, them being a little stiff still. So maybe a little bit of a mistake on my part when it came to this shoe, but I wore these for maybe 40 or 50 miles, kind of beginning of day 2 through most of the day on day 2. And then the last shoe that I switched into was the On Cloud Ultra Pro. These are just like a nice all-around trail shoe. They're really comfortable. I will say the one issue that I had with these at the end is this is like a really breathable upper, so I had quite a bit of dust that was getting into my shoes just because these holes are like pretty big and open. So but my feet were pretty cooked at that point, so this was nice to put on. Just has a nice wide toe box, and I ended up finishing in that shoe. And then socks that I wore, Satisfy Merino toe socks. The toe socks come in clutch. I think I actually switched into just a normal sock, but I was wearing the toe sock for the majority of the race with some lubrication. I started off with some powder just to keep my feet dry. I don't know where that stuff is, but it's like a anti-blister powder. It keeps your feet dry. And then later on in the race, I just ended up putting Vaseline on my toes and then would slip them into the socks. Gloves, I had these on me just in my vest the entire time. It actually got pretty cold up at the summit, the first summit up and over Mammoth Mountain. My hands got really cold, so I ended up putting these on. And I don't think I ended up wearing these anytime after that in the race. It was actually, I got pretty lucky with the weather. For sunglasses, I started off with these Oakley Satisfy Stunt Devils. These things are pretty cool. When you go into the sun, these clear lenses actually get darker, so it adjusts to your to the brightness and UV. So these are really nice. You could wear these during the day. You could even wear them at night. But I wore those for pretty much the entirety of day 1. And then the rest of the race, I didn't even really wear sunglasses. And then the belt that I used, Satisfy Trail Band, I had this on my waist. Kept my gels, my phone, extra power source in here. And then in the back compartment, I kept 1 spare bottle. So some of the aid stations I could get away with just 2 bottles in my vest. And then some of the longer sections, I would just slide a 3rd bottle here in the back. And that was enough water storage for me to carry for the race. The hat I wore for the entire race was the Satisfy Rippy Air. This thing's nice because it has some perforation, so super breathable. Wore this during the day, at night. This is my go-to hat. Love this thing. It's my favorite. For the shorts, so this is where it gets a little fun. I actually started in these are actually some custom Spaso 2.5s. I had Marie, shout out Marie at Satisfy. She sewed in a special liner for me, so I like the short liner, and then these actually have some cargo pockets in the side. So I was stashing all my trash just in the side pockets here, and then they have an additional zip pocket and then 2 more gel pockets in the side. So making sure I had a ton of storage, ton of different options to switch gels around, carry trash, carry all my gear. These I wore all of day 1 into day 2, and then on day 2 I switched into this pair of Satisfy half tights, and then I wore these for the entirety of day 2, and then on night 2 I switched into the Satisfy coffee thermal half tights. These are a little bit thicker of a material than the other half tights, so when it was getting, I wouldn't say it was getting cold, but when it was getting colder at night, I just threw these on because they're just a little bit thicker, a little bit warmer, and I feel like these have a little bit of compression, whereas the other ones are just very comfortable fitting. And once I was, had 180 plus miles in my legs, it was nice to have a little bit of a squeeze from the half tights. For the tops, I started the race in the Satisfy River shirt. This was nice. I kind of had it it's cool because you can unbutton the front. I had like the bottom 2 buttons unbuttoned along with the top one just to get a little bit airflow in, like, kind of on my body. It was the day 1, it was a little variable with the temperature. It was nice in the morning, and then when we got to the top of the mountain, like I said, it was really cold. So this was nice to have. And then once we dropped back down, kind of near the Convict Lake area, it warmed up quite a bit. So I had this thing kind of unbuttoned, and it was nice to have, a little bit of control over my temperature just with this one single item. And then on night 1, in the Glass Mountains, it got a little bit chilly, so I switched into this Satisfy Octa, Ghost Fleece Octa, or Fuzz Fleece Octa. I actually don't really know the name of this, but I know it's something Octa, so the Satisfy Octa Merino? Sorry guys, I blanked on the name, but wore this for night 1. And then day 2, it got kind of hot, so I just switched into a t-shirt for the rest of the race. This is a Satisfy Moth Tech tee. Wore this until the finish. And then I didn't end up wearing this. I kind of had it out. Actually, I wore it for a second on night 2, and then ended up just taking it off and tying it on my waist at the very end of the race. This is the Fuzz Fleece, the Satisfy Fuzz Fleece. So this has got a hood, nice scuba neck. And one thing I like about this thing is it's super breathable, so it keeps you warm when you need it, and then once it kind of gets a little bit warmer, it's nice and breathable. So this is a very versatile top. You can wear it when it's really cold to like not that cold. Let's go over what was in my pack. So this is what I had in my pack. So I was wearing the Camelback Apex Pro vest. Had this thing on the entire race. I just went with one vest. Sometimes I alternate between 2 different vests, but I kept this thing on for the entire time. Had it packed with all my gels, all my mandatory gear, and it was able to hold everything super well, no bounce. It was perfect. So wore the Camelback vest, and then I had the Pertex jacket and pants just in the back of my vest. I didn't end up needing to put this stuff on at all. The weather was looking a little bit spotty, like it might have rained. I actually dodged the really bad weather, so I think the day after I finished, there was a kind of a storm that rolled through and dusted the summit with snow. So I think a lot of the kind of mid to back of the pack runners had to deal with snow, which is what I was carrying this stuff for, but I didn't end up needing to use it. So this just stayed in the back of my pack the entire time. I had a 2-liter bladder, Camelback bladder, that I didn't end up using. We just had it in the gear. A lot of this stuff, I brought a ton of stuff, backups of everything. And most of the gear that I brought with me was I didn't even end up using it. So it's good to need it and it's good to not need it and have it rather than have it and not need it. I think I said that right. Yeah. So brought a ton of gear, didn't end up using a lot of it. Emergency blanket. This was in the back of my pack. I actually carried chapstick with me, which I probably didn't apply enough because my lips just got destroyed from the sun. So had this chapstick in my vest, should have wore it more, but yeah, it just happens when you're up at altitude and the UV index is 1,000. Poles. So I was using these Lecky, what are these called? Lecky Neo Trail Pro. So these actually don't have the little hand sleeves that a lot of the Lecky poles have, just this strap. I just like it. It's easier to, use, throw in and out of my pack without having to deal with the little hand sleeves. I feel like those get a little funky sometimes. And then for my bottles, I had these 2 half-liter flasks just in my chest. And then this is a little bit bigger of a flask. I think it's like 600 milliliters. This was the additional flask that I would keep in the back of my belt. So 3 bottles and then 1 additional flask that I had just in the back of my pack with a filter cap just in case I ran out of water on one section and needed to stop and get water out of a stream. So this is a great thing to have if you're running a race that has water available on the course. May need to use it. I didn't end up using it at all, but it's a good thing to have. All right, so I'm calling this the tech, just electronics that I used. The headlamps, I went with the Petzl Swift RL and the Black Diamond, don't know what this thing's called, but it's kind of a bigger Black Diamond headlamp. I actually had 2 on me at one point. I was just grabbing whatever headlamp I had charged up, and then I have 2 more additional backup headlamps, so plenty of lighting, super important at night to have light on you. And then I had this thing. This is the Kogalla waist lamp, or waist light. I had this just attached in my belt. So this has got a magnet. This just clips on, and then this USB plugs into a little power bank. I had a power bank on me to power my phone and this waist light. And then I had additional power banks just ready to go if charged up if I needed them. And then for the watch and heart rate monitor, I wore the Coros armband. This thing actually lasted a lot longer than I was expecting. I think it was like later on in day 2 where this thing finally died. So had this for day 1 and day 2 that was giving me data. And then I wore the Coros Vertix 2S. I was actually really stoked because this race was the first 200 that I was able to get a complete race logged on my watch. Moab, I had a watch die on me twice, and then at Cocodona, that same watch ended up glitching and I just lost my entire run, like the data got corrupted. So stoked to actually get an entire race logged so I can see my splits, I can see my heart rate, I can see all the data, which was good. I've never had a watch be able to withstand the entirety of a multi-day race. So Vertix 2S was very clutch. Last, I think we'll just talk about nutrition. So actually, this is something I want to talk about real quick. I had some stomach issues on day 1, and I had to go to the bathroom a lot. So I got these single-use wipes. They're like packaged 1 wipe per package. These are good wipes. These came in so clutch. I think I probably went to the bathroom the first 24 hours probably like 15 times. So I was running through these. I just kept like a handful of these just in my belt, just in the back, and used them when I needed them. So wipes are crucial. I highly recommend carrying multiple, because you never know what's going to happen. Had quite a couple blow-ups out the back. Brutal. For my nutrition, just a variety of Go gels. Was eating these, had multiple of these in my pack pretty much at all times. And then I was eating Nerds gummies, just candy for a lot of the race. And then these gummy chew bars by Precision Hydration and Fuel, 60 gram of carbs in each one of these little chews. So I was eating a lot of these. And then I had just a bunch of other random stuff like Pop-Tarts, Oreo cake stirs. I think I ate some Taco Bell burritos, had a McDonald's McGriddle, a bunch of different aid station foods, bone broth, instant potatoes, kind of just whatever I was feeling at the moment. But as far as my and then for my drink mix, I had G1M in my bottles. So I was alternating between just regular G1M, 350 milligrams of sodium, 20 grams of carbs per scoop. And then the G1M Sport also has nootropics and caffeine. So I started having some caffeine on night one. I was getting a little sleepy, and then just started blasting off with caffeine throughout the race. Had some caffeine in my gels, had caffeine in my drink mix, and then I also drank a couple Red Bulls along the way, Coke, a bunch of different things to keep my caffeine intake steady throughout the rest of the race. So for the electrolytes, I was using BPN strawberry electrolytes. The G1M has electrolytes in it as well, but sometimes I would just go electrolytes in my bottle. And then additionally, I had some electrolyte pills, some tablets. So I was taking these when I was feeling like maybe I needed a little bit of extra sodium. I would just take one or two of these throughout the race. Oh, for sleep. So my sleep, I slept 25 minutes total. I took one dirt nap around the mile 180 mark. And then maybe it was actually around mile 150. And then 180, I climbed into a van that the BPN guys had. I slept for like 20 minutes in the van. But my normal sleep setup that I have is this chair. So this is like my zero gravity chair. I'll just hop in this thing. And this thing reclines like, I can get fully horizontal in this thing, throw a blanket on me, and just fall out for a couple minutes. So this is usually what I use, but I didn't end up using it other than just sitting down at the aid stations, changing my shoes, stuff like that. So I'm probably forgetting something, but this is all the gear. It takes a lot to run these multi-day races. It's always good to have backups, plenty of nutrition, lots of different apparel options to, switch in and out of. And yeah, solid crew behind me. We had Mackenzie, obviously being crew chief. My mom was there kind of shuttling some pacers in and out. We had Billy, Andrew, Crunchy Mark, Spooky Lukey, all pacing me for probably about 100 miles of the race. So yeah, I couldn't have done it without the crew. Shout out to BPN for the team coming out, documenting my race. There will be a BPN film dropping at some point just about my race. And yeah, big thanks to Mammoth Trail Fest, Tim and Hillary. I mean, they put on an amazing race. It was the first race that I've ever won prize money, so finished 4th overall, 3rd male, walked away with a nice little $2,000 check. So yeah, prize money in these races is pretty much unheard of. It's the first 200 that has prize money, so super grateful for everyone that was able to make this thing happen for me. And yeah, still learning, still downloading data, still finding out what works best for me. And yeah, it's just on to the next. And you know, trying to work out some kinks and mistakes that I had during this race and try to improve for next time. So that's it. Thanks.